Hello friends, this is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming and welcome to another Path of Exile video. Today's video is going to be based on a request I got in the comments to do a budget build video, but for something more in the line of 30 to 50 chaos. So I decided to take my Inquisitor that I had leveled up, strip him down, give him about 30 to 50 chaos, somewhere in that range. 50 is a max budget. I think I ended up spending somewhere in the neighborhood of 38, and gear him up and see what we can do. And I ended up playing Freezing Pulse Inquisitor because I've been wanting to play with Freezing Pulse for quite a long time now. So I put that together and I've had a lot of fun with it. So I'm just going to show some gameplay footage in the background, and then I'm going to pull up the character and go over the gear. There's going to be a spreadsheet in the description below, which is going to be my Google Doc for the items I purchased, what I was looking for in terms of stats, what I was looking for them, and anything extra I kind of got. So you have at least a general idea of what you want to be looking for when you're gearing a character like this. So if you're interested in that, I go step by step, piece by piece, and that will be in the description below. And also, if you enjoy the video, I'd appreciate if you gave me a like. Otherwise, if you don't like it, a dislike is fine too. It helps out the channel either way. So this has been Ryan, and let's get into the build. Alright, so here we are with my absolutely ridiculous looking character. No microtransactions on here. I'm a pretty purple princess, I guess, with my nice helmet going on here. But I just repurposed my Whispering Ice character over, switched a couple of nodes around on the skill tree, which I will go over first. Really basic skill tree here. I just kind of ported it all on here, went through the damage, elemental damage, all the way down through Sanctity, grabbed power charges, spell crit, lots of spell crit, as much life as I could get, another power charge. We got nimbleness, trying to get some cast speed. I picked up some cast speed down here. Currently, I do not have leveled gems because I just kind of bought the gems from the vendor unleveled. So started them off as level 1, played a couple of maps, and so they're still pretty low level. So the damage you saw is nowhere near. But yeah, just really basic Templar tree, as much life and a little bit of projectile speed on lethal assault in the surrounding nodes. And then all the spell crit we can get basically on the tree. So, and we'll be getting the rest of this life and energy shield, putting us firmly over 5,500. Should put us at around 57, 5,800 by the time we get there at least. So currently level 88. Started off at level 88, leveled it as a different character, so not too surprising. I intentionally took out the jewel sockets, but you can definitely include jewel sockets instead. It's a lot easier to get more cast speed that way, which will make it a lot more comfortable. Having Spell Echo only level 10 currently, the cast speed isn't fantastic. We do get locked into place, and one of the issues I was running into is I picked up Enduring Cry because we were taking a lot of physical damage, so I want to be able to generate endurance charges. That's pretty low level at the moment. In fact, I just picked that up, but it should help quite a bit. Also picked up Frost Bomb against bosses and have that linked with AoE and Spell Cascade. So as you can see, we get 3 of them, get a nice little coverage. Seems to be I don't really know how to control what direction they go in. I've never used it with Spell Cascade to go before, but all right, we're going to go through the gear piece by piece, and I'll talk about how much I paid for it. So the first piece I picked up, I'm going to be looking over on my spreadsheet here. Double check to make sure I'm still recording. So I picked this pair of boots up. It ended up costing me 3 chaos. What I searched for was move speed 30, life 60, and total elemental resistances 30. I wasn't focused too much on getting resistances on boots. I just wanted to make sure I had the life and movement speed. Picked these up, got the bonus of 24 dex. We are going to want to get dex on some of our gear, so if you're not able to get it early, and this is also the order I purchased them in. So I figured getting this out of the way and any extra stats that I get, I can kind of account for. So boots is a nice easy one. picked those up for 3 chaos. They're not too bad. They're not the best, but they're not bad either. Next, I picked up the belt. Belt's one of the easiest ones. I actually got this one for quite a steal. So I searched for 95 life and 85 total elemental resistance. Wanted to pick up a lot of resistance on this. Ended up getting a whole lot. What is that, like 96%, so that's pretty good, and got 417 armor. I was planning on stacking armor, but then reality set in, and as far as getting some of the stats on my shield and body armor, but I am glad I was able to get a little bit of armor on this. It's quite a high roll, so that worked out well, and I think this was underpriced. I feel like normally a belt like this would go for a little bit more, maybe 4 or 5 chaos at least, but got a good price on it, picked it up. The helmet I picked up for 2 chaos, and I ended up crafting the life armor hybrid onto it, which was 2 chaos as well. I searched for life 85 and total elemental resist 80, and the bonus for this one was that there was a craftable prefix, so managed to get that. Quite a high amount of life, not the highest possible by any means, but like 118 life, and then the resistance rolls are really good. 43 fire, 46 cold, so this works out to be a really nice helmet with a fairly high amount of armor as well. Once I get that all qualityed up, I'm kind of lacking for armor scraps. I'll need to buy some at the moment. I'll need to get everything all qualityed up, but next I got the shield, and for the shield I ended up paying 2 chaos plus 6 vol for the craft for the chaos. I don't know if the cold as X to chaos was necessarily the best craft here, but it is a fairly substantial increase in damage once we get all of our base cold damage stacked on here. I ended up searching for life 70, lightning resist 35 because I was lacking in lightning resist, and spell crit 70, and then as a bonus I ended up getting the fire resist as well. I did want the increased crit chance for spells because we are an Inquisitor and we are going to be ignoring the resistance on crit, so that's really important, the elemental resistance. And we got quite a high roll. Overall, this is a really good shield for 2 chaos. This one was a great deal as well. Next, I got the Oscarm gloves, and the reason I got this, I wanted an Assassin's Mark on hit, but the rings were prohibitively expensive. 1 Assassin's Mark on hit ring with basically no other stats are almost it's pretty much as expensive as the entire build combined. So we decided to, you know, throw away some of our stats so that we could get the Assassin's Mark on hit. It gives us a nice damage boost, gives us a way to generate power charges. We don't really have accuracy to scale the critical strike chance, so that's not really going to matter too much. Like, what's our accuracy? Really low, 664. So we're getting 6% crit chance, which is basically oh, that's on attacks anyway, so literally giving us nothing. A little bit of life, negative chaos resist. We kind of offset that with the purity of flesh, so we're not too far in the negative. It's just like we hadn't taken the purity of flesh node. We still have 8 chaos resistance, and I did look for chaos resist, but I wasn't able to find any great pieces of gear that had it on it, so yeah, we just kind of have to live with the low chaos resist. And yeah, these are nice for the Assassin's Mark on hit, really important. So each of these, this first ring here, the Death Band, it was 1 chaos plus 2 elk for the craft. What I searched for was life 60, cold damage 15%, and getting the mana and mana regeneration was quite nice because we do cast quite quickly, so we want to make sure we can maintain our mana. And I was actually originally planning on running Mind Over Matter, but even with a clarity, here, we end up not having enough. So yeah, it's a level 19 clarity. It ends up not being enough to do Mind Over Matter if we're not also running Herald of Ice. So, you know, it would put us in a lot of bad situations. It did give us like almost 500 additional effective HP, but yeah, we would just I'd not be able to cast if I ever got stunned or if I got hit hard enough that my mana went down to 0. So 1 chaos plus 2 elk here. This one was 2 chaos and 2 elk, same search parameters, has a better mana regeneration rate, has better cold damage roll, and has some resistances. So yeah, and the crafts we put onto these was 13% global crit strike chance and 18% crit multi if you've shattered an enemy recently. We're constantly shattering enemies, so we always have this up. The only time we're not going to have it up is if we're against a boss that has no adds. And even if we get in there fast enough, we might be able to catch the tail end of the buff and get some burst damage in on that. The Amulet, I got this for 1 vol, and I actually searched for 70 life, and then cold damage leech, and at least 30% crit multi. And normally the cold damage leech as life is a Shaper mod, and it is pretty expensive, but I got this corrupted one instead, which happened to have all attributes which I needed for the dex anyway, and it also had a little bit of all resistance, which put us, I think we're well above, yeah, we would be right at the elemental weakness cap anyway. We have 114 even without that, but I didn't know that at the time I was building this, and it has a little spell damage as well. So I got this for 1 vol orb. This is a great price. I'm thinking it's a fairly good amulet for its price range at least, and it helped us save up for some of our other items that we got later on. The next one is the body armor, which I ended up getting for 7 chaos and 2 elk. 2 elk to craft on the dexterity. And then a 5 link with 3 blue, 2 green is what we looked for specifically, with at least 60 life. We weren't sure about the resistance, whether or not we'd be able to get resistance, but wanted to at least get the life on there. Ended up picking this up 7 chaos. I had a better one that I was trying to message for 4 chaos, but the person didn't answer. I don't know if they were just in another league or if they realized they had priced it incorrectly, but we needed dexterity still at this point, so put the dex on, put us in a good spot. The bonus we have here is, of course, the resistances that put us at the time at LE weakness cap, especially on the lightning resistance. That was really important. And the craftable suffix allowed us to get the dexterity. The Scepter, so the way I did the Scepter, I ended up spending 12 chaos on this, and the way I set up my search is I put elemental damage, spell damage, cast speed, crit strike chance for spells, flat cold damage to spells, flat lightning damage to spells, and I think that's it. There might have been another one, but I put those into PoE.trade, I put count, and I put 3, and then I put their values at roughly tier 3, the low end for tier 3, so I wanted at least tier 3 rolls of 3 synergistic spell. There's probably other ways I could have searched for possibly a better one, but this one gives us a little bit of elemental pen, which actually does nothing for the build. Would rather have, I might end up corrupting this at some point, seeing if I can get a good corrupt. I'm not going to do it for now. I don't know how much I'm going to play this. It's just kind of a demonstration build, but I've been enjoying it, so I might play it a little bit. So we have that going for us. Ideally, you want something similar to this, but you want a different base with 40% elemental damage. It'll increase the damage roll by quite a bit. And then other than that, the only other thing I bought it was a 2020 freezing pulse, which was 4 chaos. So that puts us at like 38 chaos or so by the end of it. Also, I had a controlled destruction on another character and an ice bite, and I just bought hypothermia and spell echo. So the link setups we have are freezing pulse, controlled destruction, spell echo, ice bite, hypothermia. If you get a 6th link, you could do like added cold might not be bad. Faster casting would make it feel a lot smoother, so that might be one you would consider. And crit multi, those 3, when I put them in Path of Building, they all gave roughly the same amount of damage. Technically, Elemental Focus gives a lot more damage, but it has anti-synergy with Hypothermia, and that we wouldn't be able to actually proc Hypothermia, making it useless. It gives a bunch more damage, but it's really not worth it if you're going to use Hypothermia. And the chill is a great defensive mechanism as well. We're using cast when damage taken, Immortal Call, increased duration with Enduring Cry, Flame Dash, Arcane Surge, low level and faster casting. And then the Frost Bomb, Spell Cascade, increased area of effect. We're using Zealotry and Herald of Ice. Also have a Clarity on there that I'm not using. And don't have Herald of Ice linked to anything. Could put it on Onslaught. Could set these links up a little bit better, so maybe these two are linked and put Herald of Ice with Onslaught. In fact, I think that's a really good idea, and I'm going to go do that right now. But that is pretty much the build. Of course, you need to make sure that you have 2 first snows. You can put them here, 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 or here. Any of those places will work. We'll have enough intelligence in range. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We're going to close it out with some more gameplay footage. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye!